I think, Alok, we are good to go. Uh, People will join later. They are joining. So, Jai Bhim everyone. My name is Advocate Swapnil Sakre. I'm joining in with Mangesh Dahiwali sir's email ID because he has the subscription of the Zoom app. So I would like to welcome you all for the second International Intellectual Ambedkarite Summit 2026. I indeed very grateful to have all the attendees here, and I'm privileged to host you all today. Uh, and people are so much encouraging. They are joining daily. This is our fourth session of the Ambedkar Intellectual Summit, and we have the specialty of this session is that we have very young scholars and with the with renowned institutions around the world. We have so many brilliant minds with us. So we have today Mr. Alok. Alok is a JNU alumnus. Currently, he's an investigative journalist with Reporters Collective, and today he will be speaking on amid the challenging. He will be speaking on the climate change that is happening amid the changing climate. How the government negligence affects the livestock owned by the Dalit exclusively. So this is his topic, and in his topic he will majorly cover the how he has done the field work, how his experience with the governmental authorities, and how they neglect the climate change. And I'm very grateful to have Mr. Alok with us today. And without going further, I just like to request all the participants to I have given you the permission to unmute yourself by whenever you want to ask anything. But I would request everyone to ask anything or talk at the end of the session when the Alok concludes his session. Uh, Now I would request Alok to take this stage and talk about your topic. Thank you, Mr. Alok.
Hey, thank you, Mangesh, for organizing this talk. I want to extend my thanks to Mangesh as well as other coordinators, including Atika, for organizing this talk. So, um, Swapnil, should I start to share my
You
screen?
can present, yes, yes. You can request, I'll allow.
It is disabled right now. I
Okay,
cannot share it.
I will allow. I will. I will. She- Can you share now, Alok? Please check.
Now I can.
Yeah.
Is it visible right now?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to give this talk titled as Pig and Prejudices, Climate Change, Government-Led Negligence and Mass Casualties Across the India's Piggeries. Uh, so right in the beginning, before I start, I just want to give some caveats that what I'm not going to do in this talk. So I'm not interested in theories as Swapnil told. I'm talking here as an investigative journalist. So not very much interested in theories and academic things. But if somebody just want to take reference of about the livestock studies in India or abroad, I would like to suggest few books. Um, there are three books. First is Cow, Pigs, War and Witches, which is a kind of the Bible in the livestock studies. It has been written by Marvin Harris. It got published in 1970s. And rest of the two books are um, about the contemporary India, like how uh, the idea of Hindutva has been revolving around the politics of cow, or Himanshu Upadhyay has written this book published by Springer that uh, it is about the genealogies and archaeologies of the discourse related to different types of the livestock in colonial India as well in postmodern post 1947 India. So these are this is a sort of caveat from my side, and these are the points which I will cover in the rest of the talk. First, I want to focus on basically I'm going to prove certain points that uh, uh, how the climate change induced different sort of diseases in India, and how it affected the livestock owned by Dalits exclusively, especially the pigs. So, first of all, I want to demonstrate some data which going to prove it is not just a perception, but it is going to prove that pigs basically uh, owned by single-handedly the Dalit or tribal communities across the India. Second thing, because of the temperature change, uh, because of the climate change driven the rise in temperature, different kind of the arthropods, insects has grown across the country, especially in tropical regions. And because of the rise in vectors, what happened, uh, many diseases which earlier which were India in India since very long, they grown the spectrum of these disease has grown, just like malaria or chikungunya. And at the same time, different certain other diseases came in India. I'm going to talk about two diseases, such two new diseases: African swine fever and lumpy skin disease. And by the end of this talk, I will conclude that uh, government has spent so much money to control the lumpy skin disease because it affected the cows, and at the same time there is absolute neglect on the part of the African swine fever because it affected pigs only. Okay, so this is the first thing. uh, as we know, culturally at least, um, pigs always playing a important role in the livestock in the life of the Dalit community. If you watch one of the famous movie by Nagraj Manjude, this is Fandry. So it is shown in this movie that the life of this main protagonist of this movie has been revolving around the pigs, right? So this is just a cultural note. But if you look to other slides, one is about the livestock census data. It is the 20th livestock census happened in 2019, and the population census data, which happened in 2011. So this is a pattern across the country that those areas where uh, the traditional pig rearers has been living, those areas also known for their bigger population of the pigs. So see, let's see here. In 2019, the largest number of the pigs were in Raebareli in Uttar Pradesh. In Uttar Pradesh, the Raebareli was the district where the largest number of pigs, were there. And this is the same area if you match with the population census data. So this is the same area where the traditional pig rearers has been living. These are the Pasi community. This is not the this is not just the case of UP. Uh, it, it is repetitive across the country. Uh, Communities, those who rear the pigs, are always larger in number in those areas where the pigs also in large quantity. So these two variables existing together, or you can say they are directly proportional to each other. Second thing, if you look some of the data by the WHO, in last couple of years in tropical regions, including India, number of the vector-borne diseases has been increased. So first is here the malaria. It is clearly mentioned there that the spectrum of malaria has been increased. Similarly, in South Asia, including Pakistan, the number of the cases for chikungunya also increased. But the most problematic thing, some new diseases also came. As I told you earlier, one of them is lumpy and second is African swine fever. So while replying a question in Parliament, the Ministry of the Fisheries and Animal Husbandry has said that in September 2019, first time the lumpy got reported from the Orissa. Similarly, in January 2020, the African swine fever came. Now let's talk about lumpy first. So when lumpy came in 2019, government took immediate measure to contain it. You can see here the amount of the budget was suddenly increased. Earlier in 2018-19 it was 22 crores, but next year it increased massively. It went up to 93 crores. So it was for controlling the lumpy across the country. In another report, government said no shortage of funds has been noticed by the department in respect of dealing with lumpy skin disease. Similarly, as government has taken immediate measure to control lumpy, within 4 years, at least in 10 states, lumpy got controlled. And so the health of the cows remained intact. But if you compare the case of lumpy with African swine fever, so it clearly shows a biased response from the side of the government. So in case of the African swine fever, government is always saying, which is also true scientifically, that there is no treatment and no vaccine for African swine fever. But this is just the half truth. This is a true confession indeed, but pigs, this is the crux which I'm going to read now. But pigs in India are not just dying due to African swine fever. One of the chief reasons for the deadly spree across the country is classical swine fever too. African swine fever and classical swine fever are symptomatically same. In both diseases, feverish pigs goes through heavy hemorrhagia, which makes their body pale blue. Unless government run a proper drive to diagnose the infectious porcine disease, it is difficult to conclude if any pig died due to African or classical swine fever. In in 2020-21, country was on the worst hit by the classical swine fever. And since in last couple of years, the diagnosis rate remained abysmally low, even many classical swine fever caused deaths, assumed among the deaths of those pigs died due to African swine fever. And government-led blanket reasoning prevailed. We can't do anything because scientists are yet to invent a vaccine against African swine fever. So the slide which I read just is going to prove by this report. In 2021, there was uh, uh, there was a strong hit of classical swine fever was too, along with the African swine fever, and it is shown by the government-owned report, which tabled in Parliament, and the rate of diagnosis was very low. If you see here, this is the RTI reply which I got from a very important institution for the livestock in North India, IBRI. The rate of the diagnosis for classical swine fever was roughly like it was very low, around 100 samples only collected from the side of the government to diagnose which disease exactly affecting the pigs. And most importantly, what happened when the classical swine fever came, government has reduced the vaccination rate. It came down to even zero. So unlike the massive funding to cure lumpy skin disease among cows in 2019-20, in 2020-21, when piggeries received devastating classical swine fever blow, government has withdrawn from their caring role completely. In their dire need in 2020-21, not a single pig in India received any vaccine against classical swine fever. Consequently, African swine fever got coupled with classical swine fever, and pigs were died on an unprecedented scale. Pigs still has been dying. This is a slide which I clicked even today. Pigs still has been dying across the country. Government always say that the reason for the death is African swine fever because it always give government a face saving device because there is no vaccine yet for the African swine fever. But nobody knows if they are dying because of the classical as well. In last two livestock census across the country, uh, the number of the pigs has been declined. So the total population has decreased by 12% over previous livestock census 2012. Currently, India has been going through 21st livestock census. By the time stats would come, it likely to decline. The population of the pigs is likely to decline even further. And this is the story which I did in 2024 for the Reporters Collective. All the data which I presented uh, is part of this story. If anybody want to read the full story, uh, he or she can Google it accordingly. Thank you so much. Swapnil, I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Alok. Uh, Now I would like to open floor for the questions or any comments if you have. You can just unmute yourself. Yeah, very interesting topic. Nice.
If anybody want to give any comment, not question, then it is also welcome.
Yes.
You
Even
can
I,
type your questions in the chat box as well, if any sort of hesitation from your end. Trilok is saying, yes, it is very really quite unique and interesting. Thank you. Thank you so much, Trilok. No, Pradeep, I am not veterinary doctor. I pursued medical science at my graduation, but later I studied sociology from JNU. Currently, I am working as a journalist. Thank you, Mahendra. Mangesh, my video got paused. I think it need
yes, yes,
confirmation your side.
I am allowing. Just a minute. You all can unmute yourself now. Alok, can you stop sharing your screen? So
Yeah,
that
sure.
Acha, I have a small question.
yes,
You have referred to flus, swine flu and another classical flu. So, what is the difference between these two?
Sir, there is a difference between both of them. First of all, the history of these both diseases in India is different. Classical swine fever is very endemic in India. It is prevailing since 1940s.
And there is no treatment for any of these two?
No, for classical swine fever, there is a treatment, and government
Okay.
has been running a proper vaccination program since 2014.
For
But
pigs
what?
as well.
Sorry?
For pigs as well as cows.
Yes, for pigs, it is classical swine fever control program. While for cows, at the time of the lumpy hit, they came up with a separate program uh, to control
Nee,
the.
when we say pigs are being neglected,
Okay.
so what is the main our contention, main our argument? Ki, dekho, these are the things which government is doing for the cows and not doing for the pigs.
Yes.
For a layman, you explain us.
So the main point of contention is both the diseases came in India in around 2020,
Okay.
right? And what happened? Government has shown immediate release immediate budgets to control lumpy in 2019.
Lumpy was caught by pigs as well as cows.
No, it is for cows.
Okay.
And when by the 2020 African swine fever came, so government tried to paint them with all of them with the classical swine fever uh, because there is no vaccine for African swine fever basically. So if you paint all the deaths by the by the African swine fever, it is easy for you uh, uh, to justify that why I'm not releasing the fund or why I'm not vaccinating the pigs.
So you mean to say government is trying to find a way out how to neglect pigs?
Yeah, of course,
Yes.
we can say this.
Okay. Actually, the issue which you have raised is very prominent and very important. But as a
Hmm.
layman, to understand this requires some certain level of some awareness about both the
Hmm.
diseases and which disease is caught by cow and which disease is caught by
Actually,
pigs.
the point is it's very easy for government to paint classical and African together because the symptoms of both diseases is same.
Okay.
So, suppose a pig died because of the classical, then government would say it is happened because of the African, and we cannot do anything because there is no vaccine for it.
नहीं तो who will certify whether it was classical or African?
This is a diagnosis thing. They should start huge, like they should start a proper diagnosis across the country, but they are not doing. As I shown you
नहीं तो
a RTI reply. Like they in 1 decade they did only
नहीं
around 100 sampling they had taken.
identification at ground level is by veterinary doctors.
Yeah, of
What
course,
role government has to do?
true. But they, no, like I just shown you the data from the IBRI. This is an institution in Bareilly, Ijat Nagar. It's one of North India's renowned institution for the
So your study was confined to data based on UP.
Basically, yes, I did my
Okay.
fieldwork from UP.
Okay. And UP you covered entire UP.
Yes,
Okay.
basically those
Okay.
districts
Hmm.
which have largest population of pigs,
Hmm.
Raebareli, Agra.
And you have not gone through financing aspect, but bank's approach is about financing pigs or financing cows. On this aspect, anything, any findings?
Basically, I have seen the data of the vaccination, and there is a overall data that the government has reduced funding for the livestock diseases.
No, no. Suppose I am a branch manager and
Okay.
one person approaches me for piggery, one
Huh.
person contacts me for cow.
Huh.
So whether some bias is there against pigs and in favor of cows, like this,
Hmm.
any data?
Hmm. Yeah,
अगर
this is confirmed by the vaccination rate actually, which I have shown you some annexure about from.
एक्चुअली मेरा सवाल सीधा ये है कि गवर्नमेंट की फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री का कोई डेटा ऐसा है क्या या बैंकों का कोई डेटा ऐसा कि जो पिगरी को वो डिस्करेज करते हैं और
Hmm.
काऊ को वो एनकरेज करते हैं मेरा सवाल
हाँ,
ये
ऐसा
है
डेटा है,
ऐसा है
ऐसा
वो
डेटा
कहाँ
है।
मिल सकता है
आई कैन गिव यू इट इज वो कुछ पार्लियामेंट की कुछ रिपोर्ट्स हैं जो।
क्योंकि वो डेटा चाहिए वो बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है ये तो
हाँ
एक स्पेसिफिक एस्पेक्ट हो गया वो ब्रॉडर
हाँ
एस्पेक्ट है क्योंकि
हाँ।
सारी चीजें तो फाइनेंस के पीछे चलती है ना
हम्म।
आप बेरोजगारी है वो रोजगार है नहीं वो आदमी
हाँ
चाहता है मैं भी पिगरी खोलूं बैंक वाला
हाँ।
उसको रिफ्यूज करता है
हम्म
तो ये भी बायस है
हम्म।
ये है
हाँ, देर इज डेटा, आई कैन गिव यू इफ यू वांट टू रीड। फाइनेंस से रिलेटेड डेटा है, एक ओवरऑल डेटा भी है कि लाइव स्टॉक
वो फाइनेंस
इज।
वाला चाहिए
हाँ
ओवरऑल
हाँ।
से नहीं फाइनेंस से स्पेसिफिक है तो
हम्म।
हम ये जैसे आपने एक बात बताई वैक्सीनेशन की बताई
हाँ।
दूसरी वो फाइनेंस की बात हो गई वो तो एक रिलेटेड एस्पेक्ट नहीं भी है इंडिपेंडेंट
हम्म
एस्पेक्ट ही है
हम्म
तो दैट सपोर्ट्स योर आर्गुमेंट फर्दर
हम्म। ट्रू।
ये
Actually, the thing is, I presented only those main parts which are the part of my story.
फिर आपने सिर्फ ये
Uh,
बोला है कि
uh,
पिग जो है ना दलित्स के पास होते हैं लेकिन
uh,
आपने थोड़ा सा इस पे और कवर करते ना कि भाई
uh,
पिग के जो भाई उसका फैट कंटेंट ये है यूरोप के कंजम्पशन का रेट क्या है बाहर की
uh,
कंट्रीज का रेट क्या है इंडिया में कंजम्पशन का रेट क्या है उससे
hmm,
क्या होता है कंपैरिजन हो जाता है उस पे कि कितना
hmm,
पिगरी का कितना इंपॉर्टेंस है उसका आपके न्यूट्रिशन में
hmm.
नॉनवेज जो
प्रोटीन
जिनका
इंटेक
डाइट
में
है
वो सब भी एक इफेक्ट पड़ा है कि
हाँ
पिक्स का नंबर कम होने से वो
हाँ
प्रोटीन इंटेक कम हो गया है
हाँ ये
दलित
है मेरा
कम्युनिटीज का।
मतलब
हाँ, वो ये भी इम्पोर्टेंट कुछ एस्पेक्ट्स हैं जिन पे बात की जा सकती है या फिर।
थैंक यू वेरी मच
हम्म।
फॉर touching such an important aspect हमारे लिए तो
Thank you,
नया
sir.
था बिल्कुल ये।
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Pradeep is saying I work at the campus of Assam Agriculture. As far as I know, there are tremendous research going on in the area. There are 7 CSF. So on the pig, Guwahati are doing this on the pig consumption. I'm not. Both. Pradeep, this is true actually. The largest number of the pigs are saturated in northeastern part of the country. So there is research has been going on, not just in northeastern part of the country, but in IBRI, Bareilly, and many other institutions. But this is, we cannot say that is massive research has been going on, because uh, the rate with which they produced the vaccine for the lumpy, uh, it is not visible for the pigs.
Lumpy is a skin disease of animals.
Yeah, it's skin disease.
तो गाय में होती है, उसका इंजेक्शन होता है,
हाँ,
और पिग में होता है, उसका इंजेक्शन नहीं है।
अफ्रीकन का नहीं है, क्लासिकल स्वाइन फीवर का है,
अच्छा,
अफ्रीकन का
ओके
नहीं है।
ओके।
हाँ,
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good presentation, Alok. Firstly, I would like to say that I am not Pradeep, I am Prandeep. So,
sorry.
as I said, yeah, no issue. As I said in the text, I work at veterinary campus of Assam Agricultural University. So, I am
Hmm,
directly associated with many veterinary doctors, veterinary
hmm,
professors, as well as veterinary research scholars. So,
hmm,
as far as I know, uh, veterinary Assam Agricultural University veterinary section has done tremendous research in the
hmm,
area of animal sciences. So
hmm,
that's why I initially asked you a major question: whether are you a veterinary doctor? Because the topic which you have chosen, it's like what exactly you want to mean. Because in Northeast India, we consume pork. It is consumed
hmm,
by upper caste community as well. It has nothing to do with Dalit or
hmm,
XYZ. So it's
true.
like if you come to Northeast India, things are very different from mainland
Hmm,
India.
hmm,
So what exactly you want to mean? Do you want to mean that in North India, pig is not given so much importance as compared to a cow, or whether cows are given more preference as compared to pigs, or whether pigs are given more preference in Northeast India as compared to cow? What exactly do you want to say, and how is it interlinked to Ambedkarite movement? That is the thing.
So, if you start to take the granular data, which you told that northeastern part of the country, people, even of the upper caste, has been consuming beef or pork. So it is true. I'm not saying, but this is a very granular data. If you look at the scale of the entire country, so more or less, it is true that pigs are saturated among the Dalits and the tribals, right? And the same the consumption behavior. Uh, uh, like most of the Hindus refrain themselves from the beef consumption and as well as the pork consumption. And how does it related to the Ambedkarite movement? It's very clear. This is a Dalit issue. Um Pigs owned by majorly the tribal and the Dalit community, which is why the government is not ready to take recognition of certain diseases among the livestock of this particular community. I hope I answered your question, Prandeep.
But as I can say that these are associated with Dalit. But
Yeah.
in some parts of like Eastern India, let me go outside of Northeast, whether
Hmm,
you want to say North Bengal or Eastern Bihar, there also
hmm,
you'd be getting to see that many people, maybe they belong to like Rajput community as like you, they may
hmm.
be like rearing pigs because they
No,
have
they
to
are not
supply
rearing.
to
They are
Northeast
not
India.
rearing.
They are rearing. I have seen
You're factually wrong here.
like
They aren't
Rajput
rearing.
community.
Sometimes they
Yeah.
consume.
No,
Sometimes they
it
consume
may
maybe.
not be in Uttar Pradesh. It may not be in Uttar Pradesh, but in areas bordering Northeast India, you can say North Bengal, Siliguri,
Hmm,
Purnia,
hmm,
all this districts of Bihar.
hmm,
There I have seen that upper caste community are rearing pig or like doing pig cultivation so that
hmm.
they can supply to different states of Northeast India.
Prandeep, the point is what you have seen is not the structural reality, unfortunately. I'm talking about the structural reality across the country. So what I have seen individually, what you have seen individually, or what somebody else have seen individually is not uh, the structural data. So yeah, of course, there are isolated cases, but they are not the mainstream narrative. They are not defining the mainstream narrative. If anyone else want to ask any question, comments.
You can unmute yourself if you want to talk, if you want to comment. I think there are no further questions.
Don't worry.
Uh, is there anything?
I think we should conclude now.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Alok, for joining us today. It was indeed a great presentation, and it was personally, I feel it's very unique to have some investigative research on something that is not concerning directly to the human life, but uh, to put to the animal. But it is directly indeed uh, concerning for the all society. But it is very unique topic, and you have covered African flu and all the other that we were. I was to thinking it was being when I was child. It was there only. Now I can't see, but you have concluded very well. Now I would like to request Janvi to conclude the session. Give vote of thanks.
Jai Bhim, everyone. So, thank you so much, Alok, for that very deeply researched talk. You brought us something that really rarely makes it to the mainstream conversation. And the data that you presented was stark and undeniable, like where the mother cow received massive funding and vaccination drives and state protection. Pigs, which are largely owned by Dalits and tribals, were left to die at a very unprecedented scale. So it is not just a story about animals, but it is also a story about whose lives and livelihood the state chooses to protect and whose it does not. So, yeah, thank you so much for bringing this invisible crisis to the light. And thank you, everyone else, for joining us this evening. We hope to see you tomorrow as well for another such talk, which will be taken up by Pradnil on the fourth industrial revolution. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Jai Bhim.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.